Hi, book lovers. I'm Kendall, and welcome to Bound by Fantasy, a channel all about books and bookish things. I am jumping on today, and we're going to try to do it every Saturday if we can and discuss our current or recent reads. And today I'm going to talk about Spectacular. It continues on from the Caraval series, it goes after the finale and it follows the same crew and it's about a holiday and it's just a quick little easy novella and I was super excited to pick it up. It was something that I looked forward to reading around Christmas time and I'm really glad I ended up picking it up, even though I do have to admit it wasn't my favorite series. I really thoroughly enjoyed Scarlet, and when the next two books were more about Tella, I was slightly disappointed. I still enjoyed reading them, and I finished the series and obviously got the novella. I just preferred the Scarlet character more. So, anyways, when I picked this up, I was really excited for how beautiful this was. I mean, the back, the front, it's really giving a holiday vibes. And then when you slide off the dust cover and you open up the front of the book, there's again more beautiful illustrations. And there's even illustrations throughout the whole book, which was huge. And one of the main reasons I really wanted to pick it up, I thought it was really interesting. And it gave a really good visual of the characters and what was going on in this part of the world at this time. So I really enjoyed reading this. It definitely was a quick, easy read. I actually read it in one day, which is huge because I am a mom of three. So that never happens. So the fact that I could read this in one day and I enjoyed it and I didn't want to put it down really says something about this series. So again, I really enjoyed this series. I did love Scarlet a little bit more than Tella, so I loved the first book the most, but I did still enjoy the series. I really wanted to see where they went in this one because now Scarlet is the Empress. So I wanted to know kind of what happened after the whole series ended. So if you don't want spoilers, I would definitely stop now. If you're okay with spoilers, keep watching and we'll kind of like delve more into what happened in the book. So in the book, we know that Scarlet has just become Empress. It's her first great holiday as Empress, and the great holiday has always been Scarlet's favorite. She really loves the magic, and we find out that it's also Julian's favorite, so that's kind of cool. Another thing that they have together because they definitely care and love about each other. And then we have Tella, and the story revolves around Tella and Legend's love. So Legend turns mortal for Tella because he loves her so much, and Donatella loves him. But lately, as he's preparing for the next Caraval, he is distracted and not giving her the loving vibes that he normally gives her. So, as a typical female, and especially a young female like she is in these books, she instantly goes to, he doesn't love me anymore. He's regretting his decision. He doesn't want to be with me. What am I doing wrong? All of the things. And she even goes so far as to get a book out about how to fall back in love with the love of your life or how to not lose the love of your life, one of those titles. And it's funny because it gives terrible advice. She even knows it gives advice, but because she's so desperate to not lose Legend, because she loves Legend, she listens to some of the terrible, terrible advice, and obviously that doesn't help her situation. So she is revolving around getting the perfect great holiday gift for Legend to prove her love, to keep him in love with her, all of the big things. So she goes to her sister for help. She actually asked Scarlet to push back the great holiday ball. And Scarlet's like, I'm not doing that just because you don't have a present for Legend. Go to this alley and this alley that well, the alley is supposedly there all the time, but there's a bookshop a toy shop in the alley that only appears, that only is open on the Great Holiday Eve. So she tells her, go to this shop. You might be able to find something in this toy shop. They have all unique toys. There's nothing ever in the shop made twice. So if you see it and that is the only one in the shop, it's not as well known now because of the fact that they the owner of the toy shop passed away, and he left his shop to his toys. So he made the toys in a way that they could still interact with customers, still make toys, but then obviously it lost its popularity because people didn't trust the toys. So she goes to this toy shop and she interacts with Legend. And that's when that little pamphlet book comes into play. And he is talking to her and she's kind of holding herself back because the pamphlet book said, you don't throw yourself at men, or don't tell them what you're thinking or what you're feeling. They should know. And like, it's just terrible advice coming from this little pamphlet book. But she listens to it and then he decides to walk away, and she just brushes it off that she is he is busy preparing for the next Caraval. And we're hoping that that's true, but we don't really know what's going on. She's definitely is worried, and you definitely feel in her perspective that she is validated in being worried. He's not spending as much time with her. He's not being, I guess, kissy touchy feely with her. So she's concerned. He ends up leaving, and she ends up talking to this candy vendor. And for some reason, she decides that she's going to try one of his candies. And the candy says that you will find the love of your life. And she goes, well, I already have them. And he goes, well, what's that going to hurt? It's just going to lead you right back to him if that's true. So he kind of swindles her into taking this candy. And as she's taking the candy, she realizes that he's making these weird noises, and then she passes out. So she ends up being moved to another location. The candy seller was a trick, and she kind of got swindled. So she's trying to figure out what's going on. And as she's there, she wakes up and she hears these girls talking about auditioning for with Legend for the new Caraval. And that kind of sets her off in her brain. She doesn't quite understand why they would be auditioning. So she follows them, and they're in this really sketchy part of town. And she knows that Legend wouldn't set up a place here. He wouldn't do auditions here. This isn't his style. This has to be an imposter. So because of that, she decides that she's going to go and find the imposter so she can tell Legend. And she also, in the back of her mind, says this would be a great gift, because what better gift than to find a person pretending to be you and trying to kind of like sully your name. So she goes into these auditions and she's given a really skimpy outfit. She's told that she's going to have to go on stage, and Legend will be there and he'll decide if he wants to keep her or send her away. And when she gets on stage, she is confronting them that this you're not Legend, and he ends up kidnapping her. So he takes her as like she needs a private audition. So they kidnap her, they bind her, and then she's put in this like dark little room where a man approaches her and she can't tell if it's Legend or not. She's not sure. She doesn't recognize the voice. The way he does things is different. But the man is very aggressive with her, kind of saying, like, you're mine. I can do what I want with you. You're the one that's kind of bound at this point. So she's rightfully scared. And when everything happens, she gets to a point where she's pretty sure it's Legend. And she has her eyes covered, and her legs and her hands are bound. But then she ends up convincing the kidnapper to free her hands so that she can kiss him better. And when she finally frees her hands, she goes and she rips off her eye mask, and the kidnapper disappears with a faint, "You shouldn't have done that." So she's really still convinced it's legend, but then she's not sure, and she wants to find out who this is because it's an imposter, and she doesn't like the situation. So after she wakes, that they poof and he's gone, she is sent back to her room. So I shouldn't say that she was put back or went to her room. She was left in the room that she was kidnapped in. And naturally, after being there for so long, she ends up falling asleep. And the big premise about this is the great holiday: when you fall asleep, your dreams can come to life. So when she wakes up, she is in a room, and she's left with cards. And the cards that say ready to play, and then the other one says choose your armor. So she's really inclined that this is actually legend, that this isn't someone else trying to trick her, that this is legend. But there are three boxes. There's a large, medium, and a small. She opens the medium first, and it is a legit armor. She opens this large box, and it's this beautiful dress. And then the small box is her book, which is How Not to Lose the Love of Your Life. So she's definitely feeling like, okay, this has to be legend, but she's still not sure. She still isn't 100% about it being legend. And then she goes to the next door. She puts on the beautiful dress. She decides to not take the armor. And she goes, okay, I'm ready to play. And then she goes into the next thing. And the next one is choose your weapon. And inside of it, there's a note that said, for your love, for my love. And it is her letter, oops, that she wrote to Legend. That happens at the end of the series. And it basically says that I don't want to mess this up for Scarlet. I don't want to give her any kind of taint because she's the new Empress. Could you kidnap me? Steal me away so that I don't mess anything up for my sister. And then she knows for sure it's Legend. But I find it super funny after this that Legend was like, oh, you, when did you know it was me? It just makes me laugh because she's like, oh, when I found my letter. And I always just laugh at that part. Like, of course it was you because it's her letter. But they end up having a beautiful time at the great holiday celebration. She knows that he still loves her. And it was really refreshing to read. It was a really quick, easy read. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I read it in a day. So it was definitely a book I would recommend. Obviously, if I'm rating it on a scale of 1 through 5, I would probably go with a 4 out of 5. If I'm rating this just as novellas, I would lean towards like a 4.5 because it was a very good novella. It wasn't a like pulling in series, but it was a really good little quick storyline of the characters that we were missing, that we wanted to know what's going on with them. And it was a great way to reconnect with the characters without getting too involved in drama and mystery. I would definitely recommend it and recommend that you go and read it if you read the series and you love the series. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and join our community fellow bookworms. Because here at Bounded by Fantasy, the adventure never ends. Come check us out on Saturdays to see what we're currently reading or what we've just finished reading and find out more. Bye, guys.